The conclusion of this SFL Super Sunday here in Week 8 heads to north of the border into the Pacific Northwest, where the Vancouver Legion host the Lexington Miners. Good evening, folks. I'm Tyler Falk. Happy to have your company here in the booth. I'm alongside Ramos Lynn for one of the first times in my career. Lucky to have him with us. We've got Ike McBride and Damon Simeon in the stats truck, and of course Cameron Irvine's back at SFL Studios. Ramos, welcome into the booth. We've got a matchup between these two teams. Vancouver's won all 5 of these matchups. What can Lexington do tonight to shake that trend?
Well, I mean, Vancouver has been a team that has been all over the place. First of all, Tyler, good to have you with me as well. When you look at Vancouver, they've been able to put 51 points against the likes of the Houston Headhunters, 24 against the Vultures in a shocking win. But they have also been shut down to 6 points against Louisiana, 6 against Canton, only 7 against Carolina. So Lexington really has to start off strong defensively and just shut down that side of the football for Vancouver early on.
And of course, folks, glad to have your company here as well, as it's the traditional blue and whites for Vancouver, white and oranges for Lexington, as here we go from Canada. On the return is CJ Parrish, got his first SFL touchdown not too long ago, as he gets it all the way up to the 5-yard line. And out trots Kenny Slider and this Lexington Miner offense, who are trying to buck a 2-game skid. As Ramos mentioned, they lost 20-27 against Charleston, looking to right the ship here on the road of their second in a row road game. Slider will start with a trio of wide receivers off to his right-hand side and will hand off up the middle to his tailback, who gains about 7 yards. That was actually Gabriel Manning back in the backfield. That's a new wrinkle for this Lexington offense as we introduce you to the rest of the Miner crew. Phoenix Jones, Deion James of the traditional halfbacks, with Lars Bazaar at fullback, Alexander West and CJ Parrish partner alongside Gabriel Manning at the wide receiver role. DJ Bandit is the tight end, and leading the way in the trenches on the line, it's the guard, Phoebe Collins. Second down is also a run. This time it gets bottled up rather quickly by the safety, Drew Hamilton, and it's an early third down test for this Lexington Miner crew.
Yeah, and not easy to stop Phoenix Jones on first contact. He's top 5 in the league in both carries and yards. One of the toughest running backs to stop in the simulation football league.
Third down this season here for Lexington has been, it's been pretty solid, converting just under 50%. That's just under league average. It's here, hand off, another run, another good little run. Maybe about 5 yards for Phoenix Jones. That's a first down.
Yeah, as I was saying, once you only hit him with one player, it's kind of hard. You really need to rally around Phoenix Jones and bring him down with a couple of players, especially somebody of his size, maybe a linebacker and a safety coming in as well.
One of the longest active members on this team, 10th season in the league, second with the Miners, as Manning gets his second carry of the young contest, and that goes for 6.
Yeah, and Vancouver, trying to bend but not break, as Lexington is having a really nice drive. And this is exactly what they have to do. Just make it a second and manageable, 2nd and 4. They do have the roster to convert on those second and shorts, third and shorts.
5th play of the drive is also a run, and looking for the first down is Jones. He'll be marked down a couple yards shy, and with it being third and manageable, and we have yet to see a pass here, Ramos. Do you throw the football here and keep the defense on their heels?
No, even though they know it's coming, I will run it here, Tyler. I will still run it right up the gut, maybe with a fullback here.
8 men in the box here for Vancouver's defense, trying to sniff out the run, and it's another run, and it is stopped short. They tried to go with Deion James, but Marquise Reed is there at the linebacker spot. And it's decision time early for Lexington, but a challenge flag is planted into the ground. And so already early in this ball game, we will take a retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at GoRetroid.com. And so we go under the hood, take an extra look.
Now remember, the yellow line is unofficial, as I always say, so You know, it's a pretty good help. It's a pretty good aid, but it's not official, and that one is awfully close.
Many people say they can see it, Ramos, so they're on the field, and we'll get the call here. And they are going to overturn the call. No indication yet whether or not it's a first down carry or not.
Probably will be 4th and inches, yeah.
And it is, even though the coach was still unhappy, but it is 4th and inches. After that, they're going to try and go for it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And you have to. 4th and inches, you have to.
7th play of the drive. They've only run the football. Canada field getting loud here early in the football game. That's good to see. Here's a play. Here's a run. Here's it going backwards. And Michael Rury denies Lexington a 4th down conversion, and Vancouver will take over.
Yeah, and I know it may be bold to go for it so early in the game, but you're kind of in no man's land, middle of the field. It's 4th and inches, and you know what they say. You know, if you cannot get half a yard, you know, you have to trust your offense. You really have to trust your offensive line to get a push. Great play by Vancouver.
And so Vancouver led out by Christian Brown, and they will start their first possession in plus territory. Hand off Suda Nakai near side. And check that, Mateo Pravado, the fullback, gains 8 yards. And let's reacquaint ourselves with that Legion offense. Suda Nakai and Ike McBride are the tailback. Pravado, the aforementioned fullback. Brett Killian, Nick Lockett, Kendra Wells, and Lili Nakai are the wideouts. Stephen McMichaels, Sharona Pravado are the tight ends. On the line, it's Brunter Graham, Mike Coverson, Ryan Caudill, Gregory Winall, and Leo Chang. Second and 2, split back formation. It's another handoff for the fullback Pravado, who was just churning his legs. That allowed Swift to get around the edge. Jaden Swift. It's 3rd and 1.
Yeah, at this pace, you know, the first quarter is gonna finish in the next 2 minutes because no team has passed the ball, and I don't think this is gonna be the first time on this snap here on 3rd and 1.
And in the backfield, it's just a Christian Brown sneak. He gets the first, but then is decked as soon as he gets it. And lucky for him and the Vancouver faithful, he's able to spring back to his feet. And Lexington throws their second challenge of the first quarter, and so we will take another retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at GoRetroid.com. Ramos, this is already risky. Second challenge that's available to him. If he gets it right, they have a 3rd one for the rest of the game.
I mean, yeah, even so, and if you don't get it, if you don't get it right, number one, you lose your timeout. I don't think it's so impactful in the game in which you want to just waste a timeout or a challenge.
And Lexington do get the call to go their way. Second challenge already of this first half of this first quarter. They'll have one more remaining for the remainder of the game, but now it's 4th and inches for Vancouver.
I will do the same if I'm Vancouver. I'm going for it.
And out comes Christian Brown. Already our second 4th down conversion attempt of this young game. Brown under center. Motions a man into the backfield. That's Lili Nakai. Handoff. No, play action. Brown has to get rid of it. He cannot! And already, both defenses force turnover on downs. This time, Mike Mello getting in the action. So 2 Mikes come up with 4th down stops.
You know, and I understand the idea and the concept. It's obviously a play action, bootleg play. There's just no hot wide receiver or tight end running to that side. You know, normally you will have a tight end running, you know, underneath and just kind of dump it off for a gain of 2 or 3. There was nobody there, so I'm not sure if the route concept was what Vancouver wanted in that situation.
Here's a run up the middle for Phoenix Jones, and so that'll gain 6. But here's the thing here, Ramos. Either we've gotten teleported about 100 years back in time, because within the 4 minutes of play, we have yet to see a pass.
Yeah, this is the no pass challenge right now. And again, 22 personnel. Another run.
Another run. This time goes nowhere. Deion James gets stood up by DJ Woods. Now it brings up 3rd and medium. And
okay, now surely.
likely a passing scenario around
Yeah,
this.
now surely there has to be a passing down here. I mean, you have Gabriel Manning, you have Alexander West, DJ Bandig, the same. You know, Phoenix Jones is a good catcher out of the backfield.
Meanwhile, there have been 16 completions in the Florida-Carolina game. First pass is picked off. Maybe that's why we're not throwing the football, because you're going to throw it to the other team, and it's Mark Lopez with the pick.
Yeah, that's sticky coverage right there by the safety, Mark Lopez, who, if I didn't know any better, I will say he plays lockdown #1 corner. That's great coverage right there by the safety underneath, playing trail technique, and just jumps ahead of the football, gets the interception, and wow. Just one pass attempt, no passing yards here in the first quarter.
And still no completions, unless you're counting for the other team. Now from their own 42-yard line, come the Legion on their second drive. Another run, Bravado trying to sneak through tackles, gains 7 yards, and let's meet the Lexington defense while we have a moment. Chris Andrews, Berto Demora, Mike Mello, and Jaden Swift are the defensive linemen, with Philadelphia Collins, Tony Roberto, David Ware, Nate Heslop, Jay Rock, Cameron Shaw, Marco Swift, and Travis Arthur, all in that linebacking and secondary cores. Christian Brown scampers forward and picks up a first down for Vancouver.
Yeah, not often do you see a quarterback sneak on about 2nd and 4, but you know, the quarterback Brown just with good wheels and catching the Lexington defense off guard.
It's their first down of the game. They go back to the ground game. Here is Ike McBride. Going nowhere, stood up at the line.
So no team so far has come even close to scoring position. You know, scoring position is right around the 30-yard line here in the SFL, and maybe the 32 here in the Dome.
Definitely got to get a first down to get into that range. Michaels being shuffled over. Blitz coming. Brown gonna take off and run. Open field to the right. Inside the 30. Down around the 28-yard line. If he doesn't find anything open, he's just gonna take off and run and get the first down.
Yeah, that's a really good decision right there by Christian Brown. Probably that's what he would have done in the 4th and inches he had last drive, but he just didn't have the time to run with it. You know, just a very agile quarterback and able to find the space. These defenses are playing lockdown coverage, and it may be up to the quarterbacks to find plays with their legs.
It's why we have yet to see our first completion of the game. Brown looking to throw, and it's finally caught. Nick Lockett, a 6-yard completion. Woo! We've hit the modern era of football.
That's a simple hook route right there by Nick Lockett. Gets 6 on the play. And again, it takes Vancouver to a 2nd and manageable where they can run the football again.
A little over 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Here from Canada Field in Vancouver, British Columbia. Pitch near side, looking for space is McMichaels, the tight end, and he will get the first down.
It's a close one. I don't know if Lexington is also going to challenge that one. They will not. But, yeah, 1st and 10, and Vancouver, the best drive by either team this game so far, and by a mile.
That'd be the 3rd challenge in the first quarter, all by Lexington, as the Miners, meanwhile, just collapse that center of the line, spearheaded by Philadelphia Collins, no gain.
Yeah, they just blitzed up the A and the B gaps simultaneously, and that's exactly what you don't want to see when you run the ball through the middle.
2nd and 10, pitch near side. Bravado, stiff arm, turning upfield, and ushered out of bounds, maybe just inside the 10-yard line.
It's a nasty stiff arm right there. I think that was, it was hard to see. Maybe Collins right there, the recipient of that stiff arm. 3rd down and 2. I will not be surprised if Christian Brown just does another quarterback sneak here.
2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Offset eye behind him. 8 men in the box here for Lexington. Possibly expecting another run. As Lockett goes in motion, closely followed by Nate Heslop. 3rd and 2. Handoff right side. McBride trying to fall forward. Does, but only for a yard. Berto DeMora is there at the stop, and it brings up 4th and short.
And I like the off-tackle run. They were showing an A-gap blitz, Lexington was, so you run it off the outside and you expect your tackle and your tight end to make a block, but they couldn't do it.
Chance to win, gonna try and tack on this short field goal, in which he does, and that's our first points in the ball game. 3-0 Vancouver.
It's been a pretty defensive week here in the SFL. You know, if you saw the DC game, they got a shutout. You know, Mexico City also on the road got the shutout. It's been a very defensive week so far.
We are back underway here from Canada Field, and the kickoff will be taken down for a knee by Gabriel Manning. So out comes this Lexington offense to were able to get down the field a little bit before throwing that pick. Now need to try and change things around, now down by 3.
For defense for Vancouver, they're daring this Lexington team to pass the ball.
Here comes a pass for Slider, looking middle, and it's incomplete, looking for Gabriel Manning. It's the man who got the interception on the last drive, Mark Lopez, on the deflection.
It's another great play by Mark Lopez. 2nd and 10. That's hard. You know, you cannot pass. I will run it and try to get me a shorter 3rd down.
Looking to pass a Slider, pumping once, trying to get out of the pocket, and it's nearly picked up twice by Josh Farnsey. He had 2 chances, one a more routine effort, and then almost a spectacular one-handed snag after.
Yeah, it's great coverage right there by Vancouver down the field. Slider had some time to throw the football, and he just couldn't find the open guy. Almost threw his 2nd interception of the night.
0 of 3 to begin the game is Kenny Slider. 6-man rush for Vancouver. Slider rolling, firing just a bit too far for Gabriel Manning. And the offensive productivity we saw last week for this Lexington Miners squad now starting to maybe a bit unravel and look like a 2 weeks ago squad.
Yeah, and this has been a problem here for Lexington this season. They have been so volatile. I mean, they did put 20 points last week, but only 10 against Chicago, only 17 against Los Angeles in a winning effort. I mean, they did put 31 against Queen City. They put 34 against Motor City. I mean, it's an offense that has been kind of all over the place this year.
See if that defense keep them in this one. They're only down by 3. Now Vancouver with the football from their own 47. And off the right side, McBride just cuts it right back in and gets clobbered a yard behind the line of scrimmage as we go back to headquarters for a game break from Carolina. Cam.
Thank you, Tyler. Florida has surrendered 48 points all season. They have given up 21 in the first half to Carolina. A stunning shootout brewing, 21-13 Skyhawks late in the second quarter. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. Carolina going to put the first L on the board for Vancouver. That would be something. Heavy blitz coming. Pass over the middle. Nick Lockett gains 10 yards and just a yard shy of the line to gain.
And just looking at these two teams, Tyler, it's basically what we expect as far as an even game. When you look at the stats, both teams, I mean, Vancouver averaging 21 points per game, Lexington 19, passing yards a game, almost equal.
We've hit the quarter break. 3-0 our score. It's the hometown Legion out in front of the Miners.
Just to continue with that thought, last couple things. Defensively, Lexington allows 21 points per game, Vancouver 19, so very equal. And turnover or takeaways 8 and 7. I mean, everything is just so equal, almost to the last stat.
Welcome back to Canada Field. Christian Brown again plastered to the turf. Philadelphia Collins, a man on a mission to stop these 4th and shorts, and Christian Brown still out on the field. It'll be our 3rd 4th down attempt of this first half.
I would like a toss to the outside here.
Christian Brown rolling, looking, running, got the first down up the sideline and spinning for more yards. That time the rollout worked, and they finally convert on 4th down.
Yeah, and basically the coach called the same exact play, but he told his quarterback, Christian, if you see the space, don't even think about it, just run for it. And that's exactly what he did. Lexington really committing to that inside right there on 4th and inches or 4th and 1, as you would normally do as a defensive coordinator. Cover the A-gaps first because, you know, the sneak is coming, the fullback dive is coming. The outside was pretty open.
It's coming. Brown, middle, Lockett, caught. 5 yards.
Yeah, Nick Lockett has single-handedly been the receiving offense here for Vancouver. Already 3 grasps, 21 yards. He's the only receiver with a catch in the game.
Auto in motion here on 2nd down from the 28. It's coming again. Brown rolling and firing, looking near the 20-yard line, incomplete. That brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, in this game, you know, points are at a premium. You're not going to get the shootout that Carolina and Florida are having, so protect the football. And Vancouver has been really solid at that for the most part this season.
Heavy blitz coming again. Brown having to get rid of it quickly, looking for Killian, and he can't haul it in. That brings up 4th down and a field goal opportunity coming.
That's a pretty decent throw right there by Christian Brown, considering. I mean, it's right over the head of the DB. Still pretty sticky coverage, and the pass fell incomplete.
Chance to win, 11-12 on the season, long of 48. This one is good. And that doubles their advantage. It is now 6-3 Vancouver.
Good kick by Chance to win here in the Dome. Chance to win, obviously a long-time veteran here for the Legion.
The longest time, if those that do remember, it was almost frowned upon if Vancouver had a kicker, but 6 seasons ago, they brought in Chance to win, and he has done a phenomenal job ever since, as Manning will not be able to show us his returning prowess, as he will surrender his knee, and the next drive for Lexington will start from their own 20. Can they get out of this slump on offense? We shall see. 8:32 to go in this 2nd quarter. Slider will look to pass. Looking underneath. Cut by Alex West, who gains 7 yards. That's the first completion of the game for Kenny Slider.
Yeah, and to follow with that thought, I mean, Vancouver is playing the game they want to play. Kenny Slider is number 2 in pass completions in the league, number 2 in yards, number 1 in touchdowns, has 10 scores this year. And so far, the Vancouver defense has been great. Gabriel Manning, number 1 in the league, has 0 catches.
Run through the middle. Phoenix Jones. They'll give him the first down after a pickup of 3.
This one's pretty close. They're not going to challenge that one, to be fair.
It would be Vancouver who would throw the challenge at this point. And that would have been our 3rd challenge of this first half. Still plenty of time, though. We could see a lot more Red Hankies. You never know. 7 minutes, 30 so plus seconds to go now. Trips near side. Instead, they try and go up the middle with Gabriel Manning, who's been more involved in the rushing attack instead of the passing attack. Very different outcome here for Lexington.
Yeah, and it's not a bad idea. You know, Gabriel Manning is very dangerous with his ball in his hands. Likely the best kick and punt returner the league has ever seen, and one of the most elusive players in SFL history.
Now from the 39-yard line, another handoff. This time going nowhere. Phoenix Jones says hello to Josh Farnsey, and it's a loss of 2.
3rd down and 3, though, still manageable here for the Miners. They just need to find an open guy here on 3rd down. Even if it results to your number 2 tight end, just be smart with the football.
It's coming. Slider looking right-hand side. Caught! Just across the 50. There's Gabriel Manning as a receiver. And that's a good 1st down for Lexington.
Then that's a really good throw. You know, finding the soft spot of the zone defense, and a little bit of a back shoulder throw right there by Slider. Finds Gabriel Manning for a 1st.
Now this offense is on the move. Already our first down. Delayed handoff. Phoenix Jones threw a tackle, trying to bounce out of a Emmanuel Blackman tackle. Not. And we now have a shot to introduce you to the rest of the Legion defense. Achilles Papatonis, Bobo Cadil, Gerald Giudice, and Michael Rury are the defensive linemen, with Marquise Reed, DJ Woods, and Josh Farnsey at linebacker. Ron Hoff, Emmanuel Blackman, Zach Lay, and Michael Lister are the corners, with Drew Hamilton and Mark Lopez at safety. Looking for more space is Deion James. He only mustered 2 as Farnsey's there on the stop.
And looking at 4th down conversion attempts, I mean, right now it's 3rd and 3. If they don't get there, maybe they're gonna go for it again. They come into this week number 1, 10 4th down conversion attempts, but only completing 20% of them.
Offset tight end. Blitz coming for Vancouver. Slider backing up, retreating, now unloading. Wide open is Alex West, left on an island alone, and he easily hauls in the 1st down to get them in the red zone.
That's an awesome play call. That's a deep dig route right there. It's just kind of like an in cut about 16 to 18 yards down the field, and the safeties were not there to make a play.
Split backfield here on a fresh set of downs from the 18-yard line. Heavy blitz coming. Pass, middle, caught. Right behind the defense was DJ Bandit, and Slider had to get rid of that one quickly.
Really good read right there, you know, and DJ Bandit knows that he becomes the hot receiver. You know, the blitz comes from that side. You are going to be the guy open. You have to turn your head and make the catch. Kenny Slider finally catching a little bit of a rhythm.
Slider near side. Phoenix Jones turning the corner. Phoenix Jones! Touchdown, Lexington! And how about that for a 2nd quarter recovery? Slider goes 0 for 4 to begin the game, goes 6 for 6 on this drive, and Lexington finish out with a touchdown.
Yeah, and Phoenix has made a career out of those, you know, swing passes to the flat, and just turning those into big gains and touchdowns. Again, once you're right there in the secondary against a corner or a safety, chances are Phoenix Jones is going to push forward.
Here comes Takeda Yuki to try and give Lexington a 1-point lead. It is up and good. The Miners take their first lead of the ball game after a near 4-minute drive. It is now 7-6 in favor of Lexington. The SFL convention is headed to Baltimore for the 2025 convention, kicking off the league's 25th anniversary season, July 10th through the 14th. Join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, looking out into Baltimore's Inner Harbor, and revel in the league's first convention on the East Coast. You can reserve your special group. You can reserve your room now at the special group rate at simfl.net. Out comes Vancouver on their next possession, finding themselves trailing by 1. Pass near side, incomplete, looking for Killian again. Another top receiver here, Ramos, that is yet to come up with a completion.
Yeah, and they are double covering him. By the way, Phoenix Jones' first passing or catching touchdown this season. 8 grabs so far with that one here this year, which, I mean, when you have guys like Gabriel Manning and DJ Bandit in your roster, you know, that is a little bit to be expected.
four-man rush. Brown rolling, looking. It is bobbled. Incomplete. Killing again the intended target. Excellent coverage from Cameron Shaw.
Cameron Shaw, one of those long-standing Tulsa Desperado players that, you know, stuck with the team, came into Lexington. This is a secondary that has stuck together for the longest time. Heslip, J. Rock, Cameron Shaw, they've been together for so long.
Third down now. Blitz coming. Brown out of one tackle and incomplete, looking for Nick Lockett, but Shaw again in coverage, and this drive never got going.
Yeah, it really didn't, and that's great pressure right there by Lexington. They've really done a good job at overwhelming the offensive line of Vancouver, a very talented O-line. They're sending two guys on blitzes, and it's like 5 against 5, one-on-ones all over the place.
Manning just has to signal for the fair catch at his own 38-yard line. That's where Lexington will take over in a very much improved second quarter already here for Lexington. They find themselves out in front. How do they continue that momentum?
And you still have to find the open guy at the end of the day. You know, crossing routes, shallow crosses, you know, quick outs. You don't have to just throw deep on every play.
Slider will look to pass. Looking near side. Caught on the run! DJ Bandit to the 35 of Vancouver.
Coming into the game, DJ Bandit, 28 catches. That was top 20 in the SFL in general, and does a really nice play one-on-one against the linebacker. That is a mismatch that Lexington will like to exploit.
7th consecutive completion now for Slider. He has gotten hot. That one went for 27. Run goes backward. Phoenix Jones could not find a hole.
Really, again, good job by the Vancouver defense. You know, we've seen a lot of tackles for a loss and a lot of defensive players in the backfield here in the first half.
Now it's 2nd and 11. Just outside the Vancouver 36.
Blitz is coming.
Here's they send 5. Slider. Alex West on a little post route. Moves the chains again for the Miners.
And I really like how Kenny Slider has settled down in this game. He's opening his eyes, going through his progressions, reading the defense, and finding the open receivers. You know, when you send a blitz, it can be very beneficial. You can put pressure on the quarterback, but you leave players on an island.
Now under 3 minutes to go here in the half. Lexington just outside the red zone, looking to extend their lead. Go to the ground here with Phoenix Jones. And he's wrapped up by Marquise Reed after a gain of maybe 2.
See what Coach Hamilton does here on 2nd down and 9. Gabriel Manning in the backfield again. Gotta keep an eye on him.
West in motion. Going over to the right-hand slot. Look for a little post route as he's run pretty often today. Blitz coming. Post route. Instead, it isn't going to be West. It's going to be the fullback, Lars Bazar. 1st and goal, Lexington.
What a trust right there by Kenny Slider to put his fullback on a slant route. Well, it's actually more of a seam route right there. 1-on-1 again against the linebacker, and goes up and gets the football. Just great job.
That brings us to the 2-minute warning. Kenny Slider on a 9 consecutive completion streak. Can he find another target to punch another touchdown? Two minutes to play here in the first half. Lexington, 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Slider stepping back, wrapped up. It's a nightmare of the Greek variety. Achilles Papatonis with the sack.
Finally, the pressure gets home right there for Vancouver. They've been sending pressure. They've been trying everything, every stunt, and finally gets home for a huge sack. Vancouver really needs to, just for the momentum of this game, to just force Lexington to attempt a field goal here.
A loss of 5 on the Papatona sack. Slider back to pass, rolling and just taking off, looking for space through the middle, and might get up to the 6 before he's upended.
Good job right there by Kenny Slider. Just get you half the distance for the end zone, and Marquis Sweet already with 6 tackles here in the first half.
Offset eye behind Slider. 3rd and goal. Defensive coverage, making adjustments for the dangerous Gabriel Manning, who now goes slot. Blitz coming. Pass toward Manning. It is incomplete. The streak of consecutive completions is dismantled by Drew Hamilton.
Let's see the replay. Did they send both safeties? At least one and a linebacker. That's something that, could be very dangerous once you're in the red zone. You're probably leaving zones open in the end zone, but that's a great call by Vancouver, all things considered, and they will force a field goal.
You have to trust the speed and the coverage awareness of those that are left to defend one-on-one, and Hamilton, with an excellent spot of coverage there, saves a touchdown, but does not prevent the field goal, and so it goes from a 1-point lead to now a 4-point lead for Lexington north of the border.
And, obviously, the Miners had a very tough time getting the ball to the receivers, and all of a sudden, 6 different targets have a catch.
Back and underway now as the return here for Vancouver, trying to shake and bake their way through the middle is Lili Nakai. She gets it all the way up to the 29, and that is where Vancouver will have 54 seconds to try and make something out of it.
And I would, actually. Sometimes in certain games you will say just run it to end the half or whatever, but 3 timeouts, 54 seconds, and the ball in okay field position. This is not terrible with the ball at the 29. It would just take 1 or 2 plays to, put the ball at midfield and, think about at least getting 3 points.
Maybe find someone other than Nick Lockett, though Lockett's been on fire. 3 catches on 4 targets. There's a first catch for someone other than Lockett. That goes for maybe a yard for Stephen McMichael.
Yeah, Cameron Shaw has had a heck of a first half. Has a couple tackles, couple pass defense, and it's just been very, very sticky to the wide receivers.
Backfield, 21 seconds and ticking. Heavy blitz coming. Another flip out, this time for Mike McBride, and she gets out of bounds after picking up a couple more. 15 seconds to go now.
Yeah, Vancouver still with all 3 timeouts. Obviously, the middle of the field still open. If you want to go middle of the field, that's not a problem. You can call one of your timeouts.
They're going to have to do it quickly. They'll need a couple of those chunk plays, which Mark Lopez continues to clamor for. Blitz coming. Pass middle. Caught Lockett to the 48, maybe the 47. And no timeouts. It looks like Vancouver will be content going into halftime down by 4.
It's a good slant route right there. With teeny post right there by Lockett. And, yep, halftime.
And the halftime whistle sounds here in Vancouver. The hometown faithful looking at their team down by 4 to the Lexington Miners. It's 10-6. Ramos, it's been a very slow and methodical first half. It looks more like a score line from modern-day baseball rather than modern-day football. Let's take a look and break down what we saw.
Speaking about baseball, Slider, just at the start, very rough. 0 for 3, intercepted, and now all of a sudden he's gone 9 of 11 for 113 yards and a score. And again, the key is that he has involved all receivers, right? Alexander West, 3 catches. Gabriel Manning, a couple. DJ Bandit has a couple. Right? Phoenix Jones has a catch and a touchdown. Even Lars Bazaar on that slant route got loose for a first down. Player of the game, player of the first half, Phoenix Jones, only with about 35 yards total from scrimmage. This is the kind of half it's been. It's been mostly defensive.
It's time for a break, presented by Brakes GPT. Don't go anywhere.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
An Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Break into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and more. Brakes GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community of collectors on our Brakes GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner on our site, BrakesGPT.com. As we are back underway from Canada Field, Vancouver will get the opening kickoff, and they'll just take it down for a knee as we go back to Carolina. And I've been hearing some rumblings with the rest of the Sky Gang. What's going on, Cam?
Thank you, Tyler. Florida's 10th third down conversion on that one. They'd punch it in the next play later. The two quarterbacks are 31 of 39. Carolina leads 28-20 late in the third. Back to you in Vancouver.
Thank you, Cam. A close one brewing now over on the East Coast as here in the Pacific Northwest, Bravado rolls for 10 yards and a first down. Travis Arthur just not strong enough.
Yeah, no, it's very hard to stop a guy like Bravado. You know, I'm thankful he's out of my division. In all those seasons with Lone Star, he was so tough to defend, and same with McBride, and does a great job getting that first down on a fullback dive.
8 defenders in the box trying to stop a run. Bravado on a pitch. It's about 4. Philadelphia Collins on another tackle.
Yeah, Bravado used pretty heavily in the first half, had 6 carries, which was number 2 in the team, or tied for number 1 in the team right there with Christian Brown, of all people.
There's a look of the first half stats plus a couple of second half plays. Pretty even at the moment. Pass underneath. Intended for Lily Nakai. She could not haul it in time.
Yeah, good job defensively, but Lily Nakai does have to come up with that play. Hit him right in her chest.
3rd and 6 from the 34-yard line. Bunch off to Christian Brown's left. A 4-man rush set by Lexington. Pass underneath, looking for Lockett. He could not haul it in, and Vancouver will have to settle for a punt.
And it looks like the timing was a little bit off as Christian Brown had to do a quick step back to find the space. And a great stop here by the Lexington defense.
Only the second punt of the ball game here for Vancouver. They did go on their first drive. They turned the ball over on downs. Only the second time we've seen chance to win in the punting role. Gabe Manning on the return, his first true return of the game, gets all the way up to the 32 of Lexington. That is where his Miners will take over on offense.
And again, as we were saying, Kenny Slider in the second quarter much better than in the first quarter, with a touchdown finding Phoenix Jones, and Alexander West and Gabe Manning had a couple of long receptions. Let's see if he can continue with that rhythm.
Man rush, Sliders down again. I believe that was the second sack of the ball game for Achilles Papatonis.
In a same stun, actually, the right tackle just not quick enough to get to the outside, and completely unblocked. He gets to Kenny Slider.
Slider's going to be having Greek nightmares all night long on the flight back home to Lexington, because Achilles is on fire tonight. Looking for another tackle. That one for Bandit. Just couldn't haul it in. Just off his fingertips. 3rd and a country mile now. Or is it a kilometer now here for Lexington?
Yeah. Yeah, in every sane country, it's a kilometer.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. There was an attempt by the U.S. to go into the metric system. It didn't really work out too well. As Slider looks to pass again, left side double coverage, incomplete. Looking for Bandit, and now both teams trading punts here to begin the half.
We know that Americans don't use the metric system. They will say, you know, it's like 4th and 3 grown elephants.
Hey, what we just use here, it just makes more sense to us here, Ramos. Come on now. As we're going to go ahead and punt it away, it's a Tachiyuki. With the punt, fair catch called for by Lili Nakai at the 36-yard line. And now they've got, well, do the quick math here for us, Ramos. It's, what, 64 yards to go? What's that for metric?
Yeah, 64.
64? Oh, it's yards is metric. So the U.S. is a little bit weird in terms of in terms of like, oh, we just want to use yards instead of meters, or it's meters instead of yards. True. It's cups instead of liters. Anywho, bravado on the give here on first down, only a pickup of 1. How many what's the conversion for pounds over to your metric system? That'd be tons.
So
what's the tonnage on the hit?
Well, it will be kilos. So yeah, so 1 kilo or the conversion is like 0.454 pounds.
Well, someone out there that can do quicker math than us can come up with a conversion chart for a hefty hit laid onto bravado by the outside linebacker, 240 pounds. Philadelphia Collins, a bone-crunching hit for another sack for this Lexington defense. Jaden Swift comes up with a takedown.
Speaking about a lot of kilos, that's at least 120 for Jaden Swift. All over the humanity of Christian Brown. You don't want to take those hits.
Tackled him so hard, his legs came out from under him, yet his top half of the body stayed where they were. That's not going to feel good in the morning. I can tell you that much from experience. Now it's 3rd and 12 here for the Legion. 6-man rush. Brown looking over the middle. Caught in tight coverage. Lili Nakai with the excellent concentration to keep hold of the football.
Best pass of the night right there for Christian Brown. Absolutely. That's a post route right in between the corner and the safety who was ready to lay the wood, Travis Arthur. If that pass is thrown just a 1/10 of a second later, that's a hospital pass.
So after that pass, it's 1st and 10, under 7 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Wide receiver near side, heavy blitz coming. Killian gets it for the first time today, and he picks up 8 yards.
And I like what Vancouver did on that play. You know, Lexington has been sending the blitz, so you put your best wide receiver, or at least your number 1 wide receiver, to run a slant route and just cover that side where the linebacker blitzed from.
Back to the Marco Swift question. That's his 54th sack of his career. First sack of the game. Mike Mello has the only other sack for Lexington. Both teams now with 2 sacks. Christian Brown on a little QB sneak. Philadelphia Collins and Christian Brown get reacquainted with each other, but it is another Vancouver first down.
Christian Brown with another carry. I'm kind of worried a little bit about how many hits he's taken. I think there was a game early in the season. I could double check on that. He went out because of an injury, didn't he?
Did. Pitch right side. Ike McBride on the swing pass gains 7 yards before she steps out of bounds.
This is a really nice drive here for the Vancouver Legion, and that's all they needed. You know, a couple of big plays. Lili Nakai had the big play on the right side, 15 yards to convert, and Vancouver's in scoring range at this moment.
Short tight end look as Brown again takes off, and he will slide forward to about the 23-yard line. Another first down for the Legion.
Yeah, he's sick of getting hit like that. I mean, finally slides down, and Christian Brown, I mean, nobody could have predicted that. He's the leading rusher out of any player on the field tonight.
Just a yard behind Mateo Bravado. 5-man rush for Lexington. Pass right side. That one's picked. Going back the other way. Flag is on the play. But a good heads-up play from Nate Heslop. Does it stand?
It will.
As
that was
called.
on the return.
Okay. And so Heslop gets the pick, but they will start the drive at their own 10-yard line. Take a look again on the pick. A very pretty catch.
Yeah, right there. Oh, Philadelphia Collins. I don't know what the guard said or did, but my goodness.
He was already getting around him plenty of times to get to Christian Brown in the backfield or even on tackles. So maybe he just wanted to throw a little extra punishment onto that offensive line. Fortunately, pushed Leo Chang down to the turf. Mike McBride will not be happy about that as it's 1st and 10. Just inside the 10-yard line. And off right side, Phoenix Jones with a couple of good blocks. Leans into the Mark Lopez tackle and gains 8.
And Phoenix Jones has pretty fresh legs so far, Tyler. Only his 10th rushing attempt of the night. A guy that is used to, in his career, getting 25, even 30 carries.
Split backfield here on 2nd down. The motion is Taylor Johnson. Run up the middle for Deion James. Gains nowhere as Vancouver plugged the hole.
3rd down and 2 again. And I mean, do you trust your running game? Look at all those players in the box showing a blitz.
Lexington is 3 of 8 on 3rd down here this evening. Can they convert here when it matters most? No, they cannot. DJ Woods on back-to-back tackles stalls out the Lexington drive.
Just a beautiful defensive play call. Blitzing off the B gap this time. And, you know, that combined with the defensive stunt led the linebacker to rush completely free into the running back and make the hit.
Kachiyuki on another punt. Holding around the 45-yard line by Lily Nakai. She gets it all the way up to her own 49-yard line. And no further. How many likes do we have on this video? I don't think it's enough. So please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you've got notifications on so you won't miss a minute of SFL and SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. First play of the drive will be a run for Pravado. He's been busy tonight for the fullback spot. Maybe a yard and a half before being taken down.
I'm telling you, if you bet the over, you're absolutely crying right now. I mean, 10-6 here in this game. Both defenses have been absolutely outstanding.
Vancouver favored by 4.5. So Lexington's really shocking. The betting line at the moment, presented by Jack's Data. Thanks to all our folks over there. Pass middle, wide open was McMichaels and could not haul it in.
It was a little bit behind him. It hit him in like the shoulder pad area, and he just didn't have the agility to contort his body and make the catch. That's a rough play, a rough break here for the Legion.
Well, that brings up 3rd down now from just on the other side of midfield. Brown now going to empty out the backfield, sends McBride out to the right-hand slot. It's coming. Brown looking right side, a bit too far for Lely. And Vancouver will have to punt as Alex West with a $2 super chat. Shout out to Damon from Major League Number Ball.
Just a rough break right there for Vancouver. Christian Brown down under 50% passing, still under 100 yards.
And the punt is away from to win, angling far to the right-hand side. As Manning will try and make a return. Makes one and rolls to the 21-yard line. A pretty decent return, all told.
Coming into the game, Christian Brown, top 10 in the league in completions and attempts. Top 10 in completion percentage, as well as top 5 in QBR. And he's just having a really rough time against this Lexington defense.
Both teams right around 150 yards here today, but it's really been a show of force, a tour de force, if you would, by these defenses trying to contain some pretty dangerous running backs. And no gain here as we go back to Carolina for another game break. Cam, what do you got?
Thank you, Tyler. Could it actually happen? Carolina on 2nd and goal. Harish Prasad gets the score, but Florida's back in the red zone, 35-20. Carolina on top of Florida with 5:40 left. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. It's getting dicey over in the Carolinas. Pass. Manning! He's on the run inside the 40, being chased from behind and tackled in the 33. Gabriel Manning comes alive to flip the field for Lexington.
Biggest play of any offense so far, and by quite a margin. 48 yards as the DV overplayed the ball. I think that was Blackman, and what a play as Lexington at the 33-yard line in the scoring position. And right now, man, every point counts. You have to think, man, field goal, making a 7-point game, a full touchdown here for Vancouver. Obviously not the end of it, but really puts the pressure on the home team.
That's why you pay them the big bucks. As it's delayed handoff through the middle for Jones. And a couple more here on first.
And for right now, Lexington, I would like to see another run here on 2nd down and 7, actually. Get closer.
With backfield, outside linebackers edging themselves closer. Instead, they said the middle linebacker. Tip near side for a gain of 1 to Lars Bazar, the fullback.
Coming into the game, Bazar only had 2 catches for 20 yards and already eclipsing that total here in this game in the first 3 quarters. Not a guy that gets the ball a lot. He has no carries this year.
Quickly brings up 3rd down. They're 0 of 2 on 3rd down on the 3rd corner. 3rd sack of the ball game here for Vancouver. This time it's Bobo Caudill. He found a picnic basket in the backfield.
Huge play on defense here for Vancouver as both tackles, man, they have really struggled in this game. And I don't know if that takes them out of field goal range. It does.
Wow, a crucial sack. Jars him out of the range. And now Itachi will try and angle it to the near side. It'll take a bounce at the 14. It'll bound inside the 10. A brilliant punt from Itachi Yuki with 24 ticks remaining in the 3rd quarter.
What a stand right there by the Vancouver defense, still giving their offense opportunities to come back in this game. It's time for this very talented receiving core, especially Brett Killian, to come up big.
Blitz coming here on 1st down. Brown, copping McMichaels, who got the agility this time. The turnaround, shove a man into the turf for good measure and get up to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, it's a great throw, great decision right there, and the defense got confused on that one as both DBs were kind of in a pickle of who was going to get who.
Gain of 20 from McMichaels. Thanks to our statisticians, Ike McBride and Damon Simeon, for keeping us up to date all game long. As Lexington sent a 6-man rush, Lely on the catch here for a gain of 2.
2 yards.
2 yards, and the end of the quarter. When we come back, the conclusion here from Canada Field. We'll step aside for league rights.
The Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Welcome back to Vancouver, Canada. I'm Tyler Falk alongside Ramos Lynn here in the booth. Glad to have your company this late Sunday evening of Labor Day weekend. Hopefully everyone's staying up and watching us late because, well, you should have tomorrow off, maybe, if you're lucky. Bravado gains a few yards, setting up 3rd and 4.
Well, that's the bad thing about being in a sane country. I don't have a day off tomorrow.
You guys have kilometers. We got holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy, 3rd down here for Vancouver. They've only converted on 1 3rd down out of the 10 they've had tonight. Blitz coming. Brown unloading, and Shaw is there with the deflection. Incomplete. They're now 1 for 11 on third down. A dismal performance from this Vancouver offense on third down tonight.
Yeah, and I understand you want to go to your number one guy, and I said it, you know, you have to find Brett Killian, make plays, but man, he's just getting double teamed every down, it seems like.
It's a nice punt, though, from Tywin as Gabriel Manning tries to fend off DJ Woods on the return, but cannot. And so Lexington will start this next drive from the 32. It's gone kind of silent here, Ramos, for the better part of this half. No scoring since midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, it's been pretty silent for both offenses, but like most of this game has been played inside the 30s even.
We've seen 6 punts and an interception in this second half alone. Now the Miners with a 4-point lead try again to march down the field to extend it as the run up the middle from Jones gains 5.
And you have to understand as Lexington, keep possession of the ball. Do not, throw a dumb pick six or anything like that. You can sustain a good, solid, lengthy drive and score a touchdown. That is potentially the ball game.
And off middle. This time it's James who gets the call and the first down for the Miners.
It's going to take the clock down some more. Vancouver still not in a rush as to call timeouts or anything, but you have to feel a little bit of the pressure of we need to make a stand right now.
4-man, 5-man rush, and Slider hit as he was throwing the football. Might have been intended for Bandit. I don't know what he's upset about. It's not on him. The offensive line let a free rusher come through the line.
Gabriel Manning has been targeted 8 times, only 3 catches to show up for it, and one of them was 46 yards. So other than that, 2 catches for 19 yards. This Vancouver defense has done a really good job.
Second down, blitz coming. Slider just off his back foot, trying to fit it into Manning. But Emmanuel Blackman right step with him. An incomplete pass sets up third down.
Now let's see if they open up the offense a little bit more. Put 4, maybe even 5 wideouts. We'll see 3 in Bandit, actually.
Bunch set near side 1, that being Gabriel Manning. The inside, playing slot receiver here. Slider, middle, almost intercepted off a diving attempt by Michael Lister. And Lexington will also have to punt our 7th of the half.
Yeah, it's outstanding cover 1 coverage. It was double blitz by the linebackers and just leave Drew Hamilton on a zone deep middle. The outside corners are completely alone on an island. That is outstanding trust on your defense.
Kai trying to make a return. No. Stood up almost immediately. Join Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green for another edition of SFL this week at 7:15 p.m. Eastern before the battle for Louisiana. The Bossier City Steamers face the Louisiana Revolution down in the Bayou for this week's Monday Night Spectacular. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. Eastern right here on SFL U2. First play from scrimmage on the drive. Here for Christian Brown is a pass, and it's incomplete. Luckett had a finger on it.
Yeah, he did. Again, a little bit off target, but, I've seen Nick Lockett come up with even harder catches, so got to also help your quarterback a little bit.
Second and 10. Here for the Legion. They're going to have to gain a good chunk here on second down to try and alleviate third down. Brown gets rid of it. Caught. There's Killian crossing the 35-yard line. And a Vancouver first down. Maybe they're on the prowl.
It's a great play. Again, another blitz sent by Lexington. You have one-on-one on the outside, and Cameron Shaw has been outstanding, but eventually the All-Star Hall of Famer is going to get the better of you.
That got all the way up to the 36-yard line. A gain of 18. Here comes the run here from Pseudo as he is brought backwards. A loss of 2 on the play. Good tackle from Tony Roberto.
2nd down and 12 yards to go. This is exactly, again, Vancouver doesn't want that. It's been hard enough to pass on this defense. You don't want to get behind the sticks like that.
It's gone final. It's official. Carolina puts the first crooked number in the loss column for Florida today as Nick Lockett couldn't haul it in. Nate Heslop in with the crushing hit. And it's 3rd and a kilometer for Vancouver.
And the one-on-one coverage by Lexington, completely outstanding. You know, again, this is a play that I've seen Vancouver receivers one-on-one through the years. You know, most defensive backs, but not tonight.
It's coming. Only 1 of 11 on 3rd down, and Brett Killian could not extend far enough. Another 3rd down wasted.
If you look at the, last Vancouver drives, in reverse order: punt, 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 interception, punt, end of the half, punt. Those are the last drives for Vancouver. And the defense, again, is giving them every chance they can possibly have. They will rely on them to give them one more at least.
Fair catch called for at the Lexington 26. Again, if you're just joining us, Florida falls to Carolina. It's their first loss of the season. That final score, 35-20. Player of the game, I'm being told, is Mike Ryan with 17 solo tackles and a pick to his credit. Seems like he's had enough gelato and actually started to try and play this time around. As Lexington gets set to work here, it's been the same score line for the past 20 minutes. 10-6 in favor of the Miners. Slider looking near side. Manning couldn't hold on to it. Great coverage by DJ Woods, getting there as the ball arrived.
And I can see those both receivers of both teams actually have been a little bit rattled. There have been some players where the ball hits them right in the hands or right in the chest, and they're unable to come up with.
Coverage backing off a little bit here for Vancouver here on 2nd down. High formation behind Slider. 4-man rush. Achilles does it again. Sack number 3. A hat trick for Achilles Papatonis.
And that is some cha-ching cash for Achilles Papatonis. 3rd sack of the night. And this poor right tackle is just no match for the Greek man.
A loss of 6 drags Lexington back to near their own 20-yard line. 3rd and quite some distance. 4-man rush. It's a beautifully designed 4-man rush. An excellent awareness to get up and deflect that screen pass. Lexington will punt. This defense for Vancouver is keeping their offense in it, but the offense just has been stuck in neutral.
Yeah, and that's a phenomenal zone blitz. Actually, they send Achilles Papatonis back to do a little zone coverage, and they send both linebackers, and one of them able to jump and get the pass deflection.
And Akai gets it up to the 46-yard line, so a shortened field to potentially give them the opportunity to march down this field and get some points.
This is maybe the best field position they've had all night. I have to double check on that, but almost with the ball at midfield.
Has to be one of the best starting field positions. I think they did start from the 49-yard line on their first play of the game as Pravado gains 4 on the pitch because they took over on downs from Lexington.
Yep.
They started right where they are right now on the same spot in the field, the 49-yard line.
Yeah.
Second and 5. Here for the Legion. Killian set out in motion out to the right. Roll out for Christian Brown. Has time. Looking for Killian, and he can't find him. Heslop's been all over Brett Killian like butter on toast.
Yeah, now with a 3rd and 5. Yeah, this is one of those situations, Tyler. You have to go a little bit to the back of the playbook and try to find something else. You know, you have a list of the plays that you go back often. Maybe they need to just try something different.
3rd down. It hasn't been a good stake. Brown has to take off and try and run. He is taken down from behind. Nothing he could do about that as Chris Andrews comes up with the team's 3rd sack of the game.
Yeah, it's outstanding hustle right there by the linebacker. Right by the DN. I mean, it's just sensational effort to get the sack.
And so we will see yet another Vancouver punt. And Manning standing right around his 13, looking up the edge, bounces off a tackle, looking for more room, off the numbers. Gabriel Manning is gonna take it the distance. Touchdown, Lexington Miners. It's a double-digit lead on the road to potentially give the Lexington franchise their first win over the Vancouver franchise in history.
And that's the GOAT doing GOAT things. Gabriel Manning, the best to ever do it, returning the punt all the way for 6. And that's nail in the coffin for Vancouver.
Another return touchdown for Gabriel Manning, his 7th of his illustrious career. That's already an SFL record. He just does it again. And the extra point is up and good. 11-point lead for Lexington. And there's just been very little that Vancouver have been able to do all night long. Just punts in the second half. 10 in total. And it's that 5th and final potential punt, which potentially seals the deal and seals their fate for the Legion.
Yeah, just and in these kinds of games, Tyler, is sometimes a defensive play, a pick 6, or a play on special teams that makes all the difference. Just devastating for Vancouver.
And off left side for McBride. She's taken down after a gain of 4. And right now, Vancouver, what they're trying to avoid is another 6-point output from their offense. It would already be their 3rd of the season. It would be their 6th of the 2K4 era. Pass, middle, hot first down, Lily Nakai. Before season 21, they've only before season 21, only 3 times in Vancouver's history have they only scored 6 points or fewer.
Yeah. Guys, it's not easy. I mean, as somebody who has had to game plan against Vancouver many a times, we know that this offense is just completely stacked with talent.
Pass looking for Bravado, incomplete. That brings up 2nd and 10.
But, you know, we were talking about at the beginning of the broadcast, you know, it's Vancouver has been a team that has either scored 24 or 23 or more, 24 or more, or less than 7 points. Like nothing in between. You know, they scored 30 against Los Angeles. They scored 24 against Baltimore, but they only scored 6 against Louisiana, 7 against the Skyhawks.
Pass, middle, incomplete, looking for Lockett. And again, we bring up 3rd down. And for Vancouver, they have not converted a 3rd down since the beginning of the 3rd quarter. They're 1 of 13. Something has to give here. 4-man rush for Lexington. Brown looking middle. Cut. There's a 1st down for Vancouver. Hallelujah. And Vancouver's able to try and make a game out of this.
Yeah, and for Vancouver, if you move the ball quickly enough, even a field goal is okay. You make it a 1-possession game still. So at least focus on getting to about the 32-yard line.
They hustle back to the line. They're going to have to hurry the rest of the way home. Two wideouts. Brown going to look for Lockett, and Heslop's there with a deflection, incomplete.
Double covered again. You know, in this power formation, that's exactly what Lexington has done. You know, it's only one wide receiver, 22 personnel. They're doubling the X-receiver, whoever that is. If it's Nick Lockett, if it's Brett Killian, they're just putting two guys, a corner and a linebacker, or a corner and a safety.
5 wide receivers, 5-man rush. Brown looking for Killian, and incomplete. David Ware in on the stop. Third down. Can we see another third down conversion for Vancouver?
Well, it's obviously fourth down territory, so at least try to get half of the distance.
Wideouts. One tailback in the backfield. Pass left side, caught Lockett. Mr. Money on this drive. 11 yards and a first down. The 42, Brown quickly trying to find Killian, but Heslop again. Give that man his flowers, because he has been the wall in the way of Brown trying to find Killian all night tonight.
Yeah, it's been great. He's leading the team in tackles, 7 tackles solo, 3 passes defense, and a pick.
Second and 10, 3:10 to go in regulation. Blitz coming. Brown middle, caught McMichaels. Dragging a defender with them all the way up to inside the 22-yard line. Back to the line they come in a very positive looking formation. Just under 3 minutes to go. Flip out near side. Caught. Looking for more room as McMichaels gains 7. Back to the line comes Vancouver.
Yeah, they have to keep going.
2:47 and ticking. Pass intercepted, looking for Killian. Oh my goodness. Killian was in no fly zone, no pass zone, and another pick. J-Rock with the interception, and it just demoralizes this hometown crowd.
You know, and I don't necessarily hate the decision by Christian Brown going up to seam, you know, to his number 1 receiver, going against J-Rock, who's the nickel DB, but that's an outstanding play, outstanding coaching and film study by J-Rock to get in front of it and get the interception.
Second interception of the game thrown by Christian Brown. As Slider will send a man in motion. Here comes a blitz. Phoenix Jones trying to get out of the Mark Lopez tackle and cannot. Gains 6 yards.
Yeah, and I'll doubt Kenny Slider will throw another pass probably for the rest of the game. You know, if you're Lexington, you got to take this to the 2-minute warning here.
So with that, I mean, Ramos, it's just been a very good watch for Lexington after that first quarter of stagnation. They have kept themselves ahead of the Vancouver Legion for a better chunk of this game. And it showed with some clutch defensive plays to go with it. 2 minutes left in this game. Vancouver need a stop.
It's a great bounce back defensively overall for Lexington after allowing 27 and 31 points in back-to-back weeks.
Slider under center. They need about 4 yards for a first down. They try and go up the middle, and bullying his way forward is Phoenix Jones up to the 25-yard line. That's a first down, and here comes the timeout train for Vancouver. As unless something amazing happens for Vancouver, it does look like they will fall to 3-4, and Lexington will go back to 500 and go up to 4-4. It's the first multi-interception game for Christian Brown since week 1 against the Carolina Skyhawks when he threw a couple interceptions. Since then, he's been relatively clean. But today is when Lexington just played better.
Yeah, and Lexington, you know, keeping pace in that very tough Central Division. Minnesota, Indianapolis right there, obviously at the top, but the Miners at 4-4 still keeping pace in that division.
And off Jones taken down after again a 1. And the final timeout used now by Vancouver. There's a minute 46 left to go here in regulation from Canada Field.
And for Vancouver right there in the West Division, they dropped to 3-4, but they will still be second place in that division. Obviously, Arizona is running away with it and probably will be able to, as amazing as it sounds, secure the division in about a week's time. But 3-4 is still second place, and far from the end for the Legion.
Well, with this loss, Vancouver moves to 3-4. Arizona, is now 4 games ahead of their next closest competitor now 3 games ahead of their next closest competitor. Albuquerque did come away with the victory over Charleston by 2 points on Friday. So, no, I'm actually, again, they're 4 games ahead. They're 4 games ahead. And so another win by Arizona and a loss by Vancouver and Albuquerque in Week 10 will see Arizona take the Pacific Division in Week 10. That's early.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And while talking about early division clinchers, it's usually like Baltimore or Canton from last season where we saw those early conventions. We never saw that out of the Pacific/now West Division with Vancouver in it. It's been a very different season for the Legion.
Yeah, it really has. It really has. And securing the division potentially second week of September is just insane work.
Vancouver still have a chance yet in this game. McMichaels with a good catch for about 14 yards. Under 50 seconds to go. Vancouver hustle back to the line. 44 seconds, and Christian Brown will spike it. Need a few more plays like that to get back into field goal range. Or not even field goal range. You need 2 touchdowns at this point.
Yeah, you do. Just got to throw it deep at this point, obviously. I mean, you have no other choice.
Coverage creeping up, maybe playing more of a shallow zone. Could send Nick Lockett on a deep go, or even Brett Killian on a deep go. Lockett now slot inside of Brett Killian to the left-hand side. Blitz coming, pass to Killian, caught. Gains 9. 35 seconds to go here in the ball game. And Christian Brown will spike it with 31 seconds to go. That little section took about 14 seconds off the clock. Now they could decide to kick it here. Get a field goal, get the points. They can only be down by 8 after that there, Ramos.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it will be like a 51-yard field goal attempt, though, Tyler.
4th and 1, third 4th down attempt of the ball game. Looking near side, looking for Lockett, and now they're one of 3 on 4th down. It's incomplete. Heslop, my man for player of the game with how good he was in coverage on these dangerous receivers. And he forces just a little bit of delayed timing on the route. Ball game is now almost over. One more kneel down should do it. And Lexington will walk out of Canada with a 17-6 win.
Yeah, and Lexington did a really good job making Vancouver a passing team this game. I mean, they did have about, 26 or so attempts, but I mean, 10 of them were on scrambles or quarterback sneaks, right, for Vancouver. I mean, if you look, Ike McBride, 4 rushes, 4 yards. And Christian Brown had 43 passing attempts.
It's the first win for Lexington's franchise over Vancouver. They get a little bit of revenge from the wild card loss just a season ago when they were playing as the Tulsa Desperados. And it's gone final, 17-6. Lexington moved to 4-4. Vancouver fall to 3-4. And Arizona are just potentially a game away from clinching the West Division. Ramos, take us through it. It was all Lexington from the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, it really was. And it was that, obviously the first touchdown that they got with Phoenix Jones, but, obviously the play of the game, for me, the play of the game was Gabriel Manning returning that punt for a touchdown that really put the final nail in the coffin for the Vancouver Legion. My player of the game, I would have to agree with you. Nate has led 8 solo tackles with 1 assist, 3 passes defensed, 1 interception, and most importantly, completely shutting down Brett Killian to 3 grabs for 35 yards.
He's Ramos Lynn. I'm Tyler Falk. From all of us here on the crew, we say good morning, good afternoon, and good night.